Pitching to Shohei Ohtani with the game on the line on his MVP bobblehead day with the Dodgers trying to stay undefeated. Of course you know what happens. First pitch. Can the Dodgers keep up this pace? And forget about pace. Alexander Ovechkin obliterating the concept of pace. 3 away from breaking the unbreakable. Let's go around the horn.
Coming. He's coming.
From his office. Before we get to the Dodgers, quick look at the NL West. Got to be fair to San Diego, who's also undefeated. San Fran, just 1 loss. A fine start for Arizona as well. And then also playing some variation of sport, Woody's Rockies. So you got to love everything about that. But once again, let's go. Life is all about delivering. Ohtani last night, tie game, 9th inning on his bobblehead day. Would he deliver wasn't even the question. Would he deliver on the first pitch was the question. Yes, of course. With the Dodgers giving wow every night, as Joe Davis so poetically put it, you have to be beginning to think, how high can they go, right? This is a team defending champs. They've got the profile, the pedigree, on paper, on hype, on performance. Let's see if anyone is willing to say right now if these Dodgers will put in a run for best team ever in the regular season. Around the horn, Clinton Yates.
I think they will, but I don't think it's going to be by the metric that you think. I think it's going to be by difference in games as much as it's going to be in wins. And the example I want you to follow me here, the 1984 Detroit Tigers. They started their season on a 9-game streak, got out to 35-5, and the season was just a wrap right off the rip. I think that's more likely what you're going to see. That team had a ton of all-stars. They won Manager of the Year. That's what we're looking at. Getting to 116 or whatever number you want to insert, I don't think it's going to matter as much as it's going to be everybody else. Hello, look at the Bravos. They haven't even won a game yet. Is not going to be able to touch them because 1 through 9, they're impossible to beat. And after you play them in a series, you're probably going to lose the next series too because your pitching is so banged out. That's what the impact of the Dodgers is going to be, whether or not that number gets up over 100 or not. By the way, this franchise has never won a World Series when they went over 100 games. Something to keep in mind.
That's interesting. I didn't even consider that. But you're not willing to say 116, which is the regular season record held by the Seattle Mariners in 01. You're not willing to go there.
No, and I don't think that's going to matter in that way is what I'm getting at. They're going to be beating teams by 4 to 5 runs for the entire season, which is not normal in Major League Baseball. That's where the impact is.
Tim Kalisha, let's see if you'll dip your toe into this.
Well, as the only one here who covered the 84 Tigers-Padres World Series, I must have been like 12. I'd give Clinton another point. I think it's a valid argument.
Well, there you go.
For the kind of season. Although that team finishing the job that year required beating the Royals and then beating the Padres. Now it takes more series. It takes more games. We've seen the Dodgers struggle with that when they were better than Arizona 2 years ago, but they lost to them. They were better than San Diego last year. They were down 2-1 in a 5-game series. That could be very scary. So I don't know that I still would take the field against them. I don't know when they're going to lose a game. That's all I can tell you. They may win most of their games.
I hear you. And of course, we're not having the World Series.
They play in a division that might have all the wild cards. That might be all your wild cards, the way the National League is going.
Yeah, the NL West has been a wagon this year. And I would love to have a World Series conversation with you on these airwaves in October. It doesn't look like that's happening. But my point is, the World Series being what it is, let's talk regular season here. Could this team make a run at the all-time win record? They started 8-0. KB, around the horn to you.
Absolutely they can, and because they've started 8-0 and because they have the most remarkable player in a generation in baseball playing among guys that make up the best team in baseball, who are coming off of a world championship. So, of course, they have that opportunity. What could slow them down? Injury, of course, but let's remove that from the equation. What could slow them down are maybe some of the other teams they have to face in the NL West, which appears right now, after a week and a half of baseball, to be absolutely loaded. And I just love the fact that the reason they got to Ohtani's magnificent moment last night was because one of their players, Max Muncy, torpedoed the torpedo bat, which he was 2 for 25 with, 0 for 3 in that game, threw it in the trash can, got a regular bat, and got a hit to tie the game up at 5-5 and give Ohtani that chance. So absolutely they have an opportunity.
Kevin Clark, around the horn to you.
It is almost a certainty they'll make a run at the best regular season of all time. Yes, I think that's absolutely in play. And by the way, Clinton, that's in wins, not weird whatever metrics you're going at, run differential, whatever. They're going to make a run at the wins record, okay? For me, this is the best start to a season for a reigning champion since 1933 Yankees. That team did not finish the job. They were choke artists. They finished second in the AL. Come on, babe. But you look at the way they're winning these games, it's 6 comeback wins already. It's 2 walk-offs. This is a compelling team. This is going to be a team that's going to have national interest. We haven't had a regular season team like this since the glory days of the Yankees 20 years ago, where we're looking at series results. We can't believe when they lose 2 in a row. This is going to be a special summer, I think, in baseball because of this Dodgers team. They're going to win a ton of games.
Glenn Yates, I'll bring you back in.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, the nature of how it happens. This team isn't even particularly playing good baseball right now, and they still haven't lost a game. That's the craziest part about it, is that even these other squads that think they have a chance to compete just can't beat them, and they actually get into gear. You're going to be watching
playing pretty good baseball. They've won in 2 different continents. They've beaten multiple
They're
Cy Young winners.
over the infield.
That moment last night, Clinton, and you could say everything about on paper or the hype coming into the season, whether they were the villains of baseball because they paid so much money, yada, yada, yada. You're wondering, is Shohei Ohtani going to deliver? And the ball's barely out of the hands and it's out of the park. And you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait. You just go crazy. Go crazy.
Change up away. Everybody in the stadium knew he was going to do it. I'm in a soccer stadium watching Lionel Messi play, and everybody in there is talking about the baseball player. It was that crazy in Los Angeles last night. Unbelievable.
We'll take a horn and move on to the next topic. NBA last night. Thunder 119, Pistons 103. OKC finishes the regular season 29-1 versus the Eastern Conference. An astute observer might note, in order to win the NBA championship, you have to play the Eastern Conference in the finals. So this could bode well for them, but they still have to get through the West, of course. 70 wins is in play for this team still. That's a level only Golden State and the Bulls have touched. They'd have to win their last 6 to get there. So let's stay on this concept of all-time best regular seasons, Tim Kalishaw. Do you consider this OKC team in the conversation? Should they get to 70? And should they be going for that?
First of all, I consider this Oklahoma City team my account as a native Oklahoman. I-35, straight up, easy drive. I think you know that already. Secondly, and especially since they drafted Kason Wallace out of Richardson High School, thank you. Should they go for 70? Probably not. They may get there. They may get there by default. They're going to get to 68 or something like that, which has rarely been done as well. And what we saw last night is something we haven't seen much of this year, a healthy Chet Holmgren doing the things he can do. He has missed over 2/3 of the season. He is really their second best player, or should be their second best player. Put him on the floor for, say, 70 games with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander doing his stuff and all the rest of that depth and this team that's outscoring everybody by 13 points a game. And they might be the best regular season of all time. It won't happen this year, but the thing is, this is the youngest team. They can do it next year or 5 years from now with all those draft picks they have stockpiled up. This team has greatness about it for a long time.
Sounds like you're seeing a future dynasty in the making right now. Once again, I'd love to have that conversation with you in future years.
Yeah.
Kevin
We'll be talking
Blankistone,
about
around the horn to you.
I remind my former colleague, Tim Kalishaw, about what the great George Allen used to say about the season. The future is now. You pointed it out. This team is 24 years old on average. That is the youngest roster in the game. They don't worry about resting players. Go for the record right now. Be in the conversation with the Bulls, with Michael Jordan, and the Warriors, who should have won an NBA championship that year, up 3-1 on LeBron and Cleveland, and couldn't put the period on that series. So absolutely, continue to play hard. You play to win the game.
So this is a vote for going for 70. You think 70
absolutely
wins
go for
is important?
Yeah, go for 70. I mean, these are young guys. What else are you going to do?
Clark,
you wanna
you're shaking
get
your head no.
a new piece of metal.
Remember 20 seconds ago when I was talking about how compelling a regular season team could be with the Dodgers? Well, the Thunder, it doesn't matter for them. They have not won a championship. That's what they should prioritize. The difference is the Dodgers have won a World Series, so they can go on side quests and try to get 117 wins and all this stuff. Everything in Oklahoma City has fallen short. They did not win a championship with Durant and Westbrook. That entire market is crying out for a Larry O'Brien trophy. Everything needs to be geared towards that, not 70 wins, not making a run at the Bulls or the Warriors. This is all about a trophy, guys.
Clinton Yates, around the horn to you.
Look, 70 wins is a nice marker, but there's one stat that matters more than anything. Only 3 teams in NBA history have outscored their opponents by 1,000 points. The 70-71 Bucks, the 71-72 Lakers, and the 95-96 Bulls. All 3 of those teams won the title, and right now the Thunder are plus 10-16. Keep playing the basketball you're playing, because that's the path to getting to the championship. 70 wins, if it gets there, fine. The scoring of points, putting the ball through the hole, is the most important thing, and if they keep at this clip, history shows it's going to net in a Larry O'Brien trophy.
KB, you're giving thumbs up approval to that. You have the
They are number 3 in offensive efficiency, number 1 in defensive efficiency. Do not take your foot off the throat of the
so
other
you have
NBA
numbers like
teams.
that.
Absolutely.
You have the all-time win. The finishing number is going to be whatever it is, 68, 69, 70. You have an all-time differential. This could be one of those years when it's all said and done and maybe they win the championship and you go back and you look, of course they won the championship. They were leading in everything all those years. We're going to take a break. Buy or sell is next. Alexander Ovechkin. The unbreakable record is being broken as we speak every night.
35 seconds to go in the period. Here's Ovechkin, score! Goal number 892.
I was laughing going to commercial break because the joke is there was unbreakable records at some point in sports, so we thought they were unbreakable. Every record is breakable. Ovechkin's going to do it. He's going to break Gretzky's all-time scoring record for goals. I mean, 2 away from time, 3 away from history. Now his pace somehow is increasing with age, and as this season goes on, Kevin Blackistone, this is your account. We don't have Roger Maris's family waiting in a hotel room for months at a time. He's doing it every night. What is this?
It is one of the most amazing things that's happened in sports. Let's not forget, the record that he is breaking by Gretzky, not only did people think it wouldn't get broken, but he is breaking it at a greater pace, if that is possible. He's doing it when goal scoring is down, below what it was when Gretzky's were. He's doing it when defense is more emphasized. He's doing it when goalies are bigger. He's doing it when goalies have more padding. This is one of the most amazing things we've ever seen. And just before he brought the cup to D.C., they were talking about trading him because he had maybe reached his peak and was going to hit the slide, the other side of the mountain. Unbelievable.
Kevin Clark?
Yeah, to me the most impressive thing, guys, is that he's not limping towards this record at all. He is the first player in NHL history to score his age. That means 39 goals at age 39. He's done that now 3 times over the age of 35. Nobody else has done that in history. His stamina is unbelievable. He has set the record for most games in the second half of a back-to-back in which he's scored. He is not slowing down. This is not some charity case. He is still one of the best players in the NHL at his advanced ages. Unbelievable. I'm blown away.
Yates.
I think what I like most about this, just as a general fan of sports, never mind somebody that rooted for the Capitals ever since I was a child, is that it's happening the right way. This is a good hockey team. It is not any sort of situation where he's some kind of a carnival show just to get him goals. And on top of that, there was a great moment with Marc-Andre Fleury this week in which the guy who's giving up the most goals to him, he brought all the young guys to meet him. People are showing respect to this. Their last game is against the Pens. And a lot of people think that it would be completely appropriate for him to do it in their barn where he's broken some other records. That would be a really cool way, I think, to kind of sum up what that rivalry has been. This has really been remarkable.
But that's then tempting history a little bit, or fate, right? You got to get it done on the last game of the season before you get into the playoffs, because it wouldn't count in the playoffs. And Tim, I brought this up yesterday. You'll remember, 1973, Hank Aaron chasing an unbreakable record. Babe Ruth didn't get it on the last game of the season. Had to wait an entire winter. Go ahead, please.
And a very challenging winter for Hank Aaron, too. Yeah, this needs to happen, and it will happen. Wayne Gretzky played at a time when Edmonton averaged over 5 goals a game. That nobody does that these days. He had a 92-goal season. These are just impossible numbers to comprehend. I always thought 892 was like 892 home runs, and nobody's going to get near that. But Ovechkin has done it by being the 40-goal man, 50-goal man year after year after year. It's remarkable.
Buy or sell too. We'll stick with Kevin Blackstone's account, please. Let's go. Another Kevin in the news too. Let's hear it. Oh boy.
I just think it's time that everyone move on.
That's Kevin Willard in a Zoom meeting
Move
with
on?
media at Villanova, telling Maryland fans, yes, to keep move on to Buzz Williams era. Kevin, I know how you feel about this, but let's also take a listen to how Scott Van Pelt feels about this.
Maybe you don't take a giant front steps of the house you've lived in for the last 3 years.
Oh, that is amazing. I give all the points to SVP.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, KB. Buy
And
or
if
sell
you
here.
do that on the front steps of the house you've been living in, at least clean it up when you get an opportunity. And you just had that opportunity at another press conference. They gave you an opportunity to sign a top 10 basketball salary contract at the University of Maryland. But no, how did you react? You threw the AD under the bus by putting his laundry out there for everybody to scrutinize. And then what do? You use the word worse when you describe the financial situation for the Maryland Athletic Department. Well, it's not the worst. And now you want everybody down here to get over it. Well, we're not going to get over it. No one deserves to get over it. And not only did you not throw the basketball team and the athletic department under the bus, but you also threw President Pines under the bus because he's trying to do things with this university right now that is under attack for reasons that they shouldn't be, with their academics and scholarship. And now he's got to worry about this. So you owe everybody down here in the 301 a big apology.
That's what we call isolation ball, folks. We just let him cook right there. Professor of journalism at the University of Maryland. I'll go back to you for one quick second, KB. Could you hear where Willard was coming from, right? You get an AD fleeing and going to another school. You get a program that maybe a basketball coach feels is a little hamstrung, purse strings, considering the football program. Please, go ahead.
Some of that may be true, but the bottom line is before Damon Evans departed, he did leave a contract on your desk. And at the end of the day, you don't work for the AD. You also work for the president of the university, and you work for the board of the board of trustees for the university. So it's not just one person, and they set you up pretty well. And you should be thankful that you had Derek Queen to make you as popular a coach as you were this year.
Tim Kalishaw, we'll turn to you here.
I'm not as quiet as close to this situation as the professor, but let me say this. Kevin Willard's AD did leave for SMU. That's kind of a signal when your Maryland AD leaves for SMU. Maybe the house is already on fire or something. And in this approaching world that we don't know how it's going to go, the Villanova job, which doesn't have to pay a marquee football team to compete in the Big Ten like Maryland does, maybe that's a better basketball job than Maryland is. In addition, he got them to the Sweet 16, and they played Florida pretty competitively. So it's not like the team really suffered because of this stuff that was going on.
Clint Yates.
I just don't understand who Kevin Willard thinks he is. At Maryland, they count Final Fours. He never got there. At Villanova, they count national championships. None of these things have happened in his career, and he's out here crashing out on Maine like a complete idiot. You're never going to be Jay Wright. They already had their golden generation. That dude looks better than you, and he dresses better than you, and you're out here acting as if you're God's gift to college basketball. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Kevin Clark, please.
Clinton, Jay Wright dresses and looks better than everybody. Let's not get into that
Thank you.
contest.
My point
right
exactly.
There are a couple things to unpack here. Number one is this. Maryland upgraded a head coach. Already happened, okay? So Maryland fans can hold a grudge. I'm a huge fan of grudges. They can do that, but they're going to end up with the better coach. To me, a lot of the problems that Kevin Willard is describing, he created. The reason it's not a better job than Villanova is because you didn't do much with the program. You didn't elevate it. You didn't recruit at a level that you can in that area. So to me, Kevin Willard had a few years to make this a top job in the Big Ten and nationally, and he didn't do it. So the guy to blame Kevin Willard is you.
They did have a fun year. I think maybe we're underselling that a little. They had a good run. They had a shot to get into the Elite Eight. They had a great March Madness moment. There was a lot of energy around that team. There was a lot to like about what they were, and then it went away. That was a tough 2 weeks. I know you said it didn't really detract from the team, Tim. I don't know about that. Blackstone, Clark, showdown next. Jackson Merrill, superstar in the making. Big money extension this week, and of course, a home run to cap it all off. Check out the fan. Caught it in his hat. Kevin, you giving extra credit for a hat catch? Grade that catch.
Oh, absolutely. I know about that, and that's A+ and maybe some extra credit. He did it with a fitted hat. If you look at that closely, Clinton Yates pointed out to me that it is more difficult in a fitted hat than a snap hat because a fitted hat is tighter and the ball could bounce out.
Kevin Clark.
All right, I'm giving extra credit because he didn't have to bring a glove or a mitt, which is something that no adult should have to do at a baseball game. So yes, this is a new trend. Wear a hat to a game, catch the ball there.
I don't endorse this anti-glove. I know people do. I don't. Point, win, FaceTime, Blackstone.
Thank you very much. Summertime is upon us, and since the Smithsonian Institution was just in the news recently, I want to encourage everyone, if you come to Washington, D.C. this summer and you go to the Smithsonian museums, please go to the African American Museum of History and Culture, and specifically go to the sports wing, which I think all of you who watch this show will find incredibly interesting. All of the artifacts that they have there, talking about the history of African American athletes in this country and what they've done is fantastic. Don't miss it.
Thank you for that, Kevin Blackstone. And now, what has become the baby announcement portion of the show. We're just turning out life on the show daily. Got to get a diaper sponsor. It is our greatest pleasure to say welcome to the world, Max Hopper Bard. We've been waiting for you. Son of our producer, Josh Bard. Look at that face. That's the face of our young producer whose host went long in a Blue Pass commercial. I love this man. Mwah! Congrats to Josh, Sarah, and welcome Max.
Baller.